The Thoughts Can Change Your Life with me, Reverend Lee. Today I'm going to bring up the idea, are boundaries good? Because everyone's talking about we've got to set boundaries. We've got to set boundaries. Without boundaries, how can we feel safe? Well, I agree that boundaries are good. I agree that when you're in relationship with people, there should be boundaries. There should be boundaries about how you feel, what is necessary for you to feel safe and to feel respected. I think those are very, very critical boundaries to have, and that's true about anything in life. There are boundaries that, for example, no one will let anyone abuse them more than they abuse themselves. So without even setting a boundary, we set a boundary. But then again, while boundaries have a purpose and are intricate in our lives, boundaries also can confine us. Because if we create a boundary that we are a 72-year-old male who is retired and that is on the downside of life, you've set a boundary there where you're no longer expanding. You're no longer growing. You see, your mental image of yourself is a boundary in and of itself. And that mental image that you have creates your experience. So for me, it's not about being an age, being this. It's me being an individualization of infinite consciousness. And what do I choose to be, to experience today? And here's the beauty of it. A friend of mine from high school, believe it or not, it was got a master's degree in being a librarian. I guess she was a librarian at the University of Michigan for most of her career. And she talked about how reading is the key. Reading is the key. So the question is that most people stop reading. And what do? That's a boundary. Because if you're not bringing in new ideas, you're not going to have new thoughts. And new thoughts are critical. And that's why I'm a minister of the New Thought movement. And what the New Thought movement is, it's not that it's a movement that has thoughts that have never been thought before. No, it's a movement that basically says that you change your life as you bring in new thoughts. And with new thoughts, you build new beliefs. With new beliefs, you have new experiences. But if you're not expanding your mind beyond the limitations of the boundaries that are created for you, and see, most of the boundaries we unconsciously allow to happen into our lives. We fall in to whether it's a political party, whether it's a religious organization, whether it's a business organization, whether it's a social club. We have these boundaries that we're arbitrarily accepting in our lives of what we can and cannot do. So it comes back to the whole idea that there's always two sides to everything. There are two sides to freedom. Can I be me without having any consideration of any other person? Well, no, because we live in a world of community. We live in a world where we interact with each other. And so there are common agreements about how we react and act. Now, within those common agreements, they have to be mutually agreed upon. I believe that they should be a collaboration, that our agreements, the limitations we put on ourselves, the boundaries we put, are win-win situations for all. I think when we collaborate and we create win-win situations, it's a whole different way of living. It's living with winning in mind for everyone, not just for one. What we've become is a society where one wants to win and only one wants to win. And that's just limiting ourselves so very much. So let me just say good morning to Rodney and Zoe and Lolita and Jean and Lynn Ann. Thank you for joining me today. I'm here every day. 365 days a year, I've been doing this daily talk. I think it's 5 years now, maybe. It seems like it was just yesterday. And so I know I'm doing it a lot because on my YouTube channel, I've got like 1,600 videos showing up. Not a lot of people have that many videos showing up. I just put it out there. And what's amazing is you can find just about any topic that you can imagine out there. And my topics are not to tell you what's right or wrong. My topics are to get you to think for yourself. I don't know what's right or wrong for you, have no idea what's right or wrong for you because only you do. And right or wrong was really a matter of how do you want to expand your life? Only you know that. Maybe you don't. Maybe you put a boundary on yourself that you don't think beyond. You know, it's just amazing. I love Don Miguel Ruiz's book, The Fifth Agreement. It's a class I'm teaching right now. And the Fifth Agreement is a simple one, but it's one I've been doing even before I even knew who Don Miguel was. I've been doing it since I was a little boy. And that agreement is with myself. I question everything. I don't take anything for granted. I question everything. And here's what I find. The more open I am, the different answer I have, the more expansive answer I have. The more closed I am, the more contracted answer I have. Boundaries are good. They can create a safe and loving space where we can function. But be careful. Be really careful of putting a boundary around your mind's ability to question and think. No matter if you believe something 3 days ago, if you get new information, question it. There's always more room for growth and expansion because it's an infinite universe with infinite knowledge, with infinite ways of being. Don't limit yourself. You know if you are because you feel confined. You don't feel expansive. You don't feel love. You feel judged. Boundaries that are centered on judgment are poison. Boundaries centered on expansion are love. You choose. It's your life, and only you can choose. Think big. You deserve it. Until tomorrow, have a great one. Aloha.